I'm curious. I wonder, Block 70. I wonder how that guy performs.
Yeah, I heard that they're not because they made it way heavier.
The F-35 she's a slow.
She a slow climber?
No,
Yeah,
no, I was just gonna say that I heard that the porn.
She's slow to get up to speed.
But then once it's fast, it stays fast.
It's the stadium effect. Just expect 2-second delay for anything that's happening.
Yeah. Well, we really have the exact same, exact same tolerance for a pause. So F-35, she's a heavy beast, but she got a good motor. So she's slow to, the takeoffs aren't impressive. It's just a lumbering thing. But once it gets fast, it'll outclimb up. Well, I don't know about a clean block 50, but it can climb like a freaking banshee once it gets quick. So that's pretty fun to see. I mean, you can be up in the high 30s, 15 degrees nose high accelerating. You're not bleeding off airspeeds, which is pretty cool. So it can get going, and it can't slow down. It's also, heavy with no drag, so you get the nose down at an altitude like that, and, just screams. So it can move. And then you try to turn it, and it's, it's like you get the barn door out there, and it all falls apart. All that energy is just gone.
That's what I don't understand, because I'm not an aero major, so I don't actually understand how planes fly. But when it's it's like super fast, it's got tons of energy, it's got all this thrust, but the moment you start turning, it all goes away. And I'm like, wait a second, isn't it still flying? But I guess you're bleeding energy so atrociously fast that it's gone before you make any use of that energy. I assume it's just a small wing.
Yeah, it's got to be small. And you're absorbing all that energy.
But
is
it
through your body.
All that speed's going into your spine.
Right at the bottom of my spine.
But are you actually ripping 9Gs? Because everybody I've talked to is no. You have to be you have to pretty much try to get 9Gs in the 35.
Yeah, you got to work hard for it. Yeah, I don't think I've pulled 9Gs in this airplane. I might have it when I on an AHC ride when I'm trying to do it. But no, I'm not trying to pull 9Gs. I think you can more frequently in high aspect type rides. I mean, the motor is no joke. She's freaking pretty powerful. So low altitude, that thick air, and once you have airspeed on it, it's got a lot of thrusties. But the thing that's awesome about, I think a Viper is going to kick my butt every time. We get in a high aspect fight, I'm going to lose. But if I get behind a Viper, I mean, it's just, or even if a 3K with a Viper, I just want to try it one time. Because you can go from 350 to 0 knots in, 2 seconds. It's awesome. Because we have, it can overshoot the AOA or whatever. So you pull its max AOA to keep flying, and then you hit the wind button and it goes, and it overshoots. And so then it just becomes like a falling giant piece of heavy metal. And a Viper can't. What's a Viper going to do? It's just going to fly. It's going to fly right past it. You can't bleed energy like an F-35 can. So it doesn't sound like a strength, but it is. Because you can get to 0 flying airspeed really quick.
Well, does it make the same
to the floor? But
do you make the same noises in Top Gun? When you hit the brakes, it's a lot of clicking. Those type noises in the cockpit.
lots of slamming of little loose pieces of metal. No, it's not like that.
Yeah, man.
It's very nice tracked throttle. It's very smooth feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stick moves. I can't remember. I think it moves a little bit more than a Viper stick. Right, the Viper stick didn't move at all, right?
It was a quarter of an inch.
Maybe a tiny bit of was that what it was? Quarter inch play.
Yeah.
I think that 35 stick moves a little bit more.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wish you guys could just fly it. It'd be fun to
I'd fly.
see what you guys thought.
Yeah, I flew the sim, but not the real deal. So that's not real. But
it's the demonstrator sim.
What's that?
It was the demonstrator sim they take around to air shows, or was it?
Oh no, I was out at Luke, so I flew Luke's
Yeah.
full up sims, and it's capable. And the nice part is because it's a follow on to the F-16. So all the switches do very similar things, and you're I don't know this, but I have an inkling what button I want to hit here, But yeah, it was cool. The thing I thought was sick was how you could just with a lot of AOA and then just step on the rudder and it just in the C model, it's like aerodynamically you're moving your nose, but like in the 35, it's like a very sterile, like a perfect nose movement rather than like my wing's stalling, my wing's not stalling, my wing's stalling, my wing's not stalling, as you like kind of rotate around the sky in the C model. It seemed cool. I don't know how it really is in the plane.
Yeah. I mean, you have to fly it right to get it flat instead of, well, you described this, I think, on a previous episode where you think you're doing like this nice pedal turn, but you're just kind of like barrel rolling in the vertical down. That's what happens in the F-35 if you don't do it correctly. But,
I see, yeah.
So I flew with Brick the other day. Brick is one of Vader's friends. So he's new to our unit, so pretty new to the F-35. And he's like, I just want to practice defensive BFM, all day. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Like, anytime. So I got to be the offender the entire time. He's like, I just wanted to work on my pedal turns. Anyway, one of his last ones, he just like nailed it. Like, and I just watched the jet like in the horizontal just rotate around her. I'm like, dude, like that's what it's supposed to look like. And that presents, hard problems or more difficult problems for the offender to stay behind. But I still gunned him. It was fine. It was good. But you have to get, if guys do it wrong, then you just have this spiraling airplane that, just like plummets beneath you, and then you just follow it and shoot it the entire time it's doing it. While I think they're doing this awesome defense, they're just getting gunned the entire time. But if you do it right, like flat like that, then if the offender doesn't do anything, then you overshoot or you get misaligned. But if you do it right, if you go kind of vertical and then follow through at the right time, then then you can follow it. But the F-35's it's interesting. I think there's some guys that could probably hold their own. If you're flying it like Brick flew that day, then I think you'd probably survive some engagements with some Vipers and stuff. But if you do it wrong, you're just gonna soak up a bunch of electron bullets.
It's all about getting slow. That's what you got to do. Just know the Viper is going to transition to offensive, and then when he goes for the gunshot, you're like, you do the Top Gun. You hit the brakes, and he's going to fly right by.
Yeah.
Just have him help
you really can.
Transition to offensive.